ran it for the wrong time frame. So we're going to let it cycle through one more time here. Hopefully it's not going to take too long. So, just to reiterate, a simple back test to see, not necessarily a good result here on the back test, but we're just trying to see which stocks are coming through this window and this window the most. Because if you have a repeat offender, and I'll just explain a little bit of the rationale or waiting on this calculation to finish. If we've got a stock that is in play, typically if a stock's being accumulated or sold by institutions, it's not a one-day process, it's not a two-day process. It could be a multi-week process, be 2 weeks, 3 weeks, even a month before that institutional activity is completed, because when we're talking about stocks that are institutionally held, they have to meet certain criteria. They have to meet certain market caps, things of that nature, and there's rules set up for hedge funds and mutual funds that say you can only buy stocks that meet these criteria, and they have to be a certain dollar amount, market cap, etc. So when a stock does go into play being accumulated or sold, it's typically not just a one-trick pony on that day. All right, so fortunately we didn't have to wait too long here. So on that bulk scan, we just came back with 6,500 trades. And all I did is I said, if I wait 10 minutes after the open, and I buy these things that come across after this point, the first occurrence of each symbol, just so everybody knows, and I just held them for 15 minutes, I wouldn't even win as good as a coin flip, 49.1% of the time. However, what I'm really after here are the repeat offenders. So by clicking on the optimization tab, we just scroll over here, and boom, right off the top, it's showing me, okay, out of the past 60 days, these stocks have come through this many times respectively each. Maybe this guy's just starting. Maybe this guy's right in the middle of, a lot of institutions selling, okay? But the bottom line is these are the top 10. We could even stretch it out a little further, which is what I did for the examples that I'm going to illustrate here shortly. But we can see these are all the stocks that are coming through here the most. So it's real easy. Now, in the future, hopefully you'll notice, I think at first I can go, oh, well, cool, I'll just copy these symbols. And when I go to right click, no, you can't copy out of here. So in the meantime, we do have to manually, unless we want to export, which it wouldn't just save these, but in any case, hopefully in the future we're going to be able to right click and capture these symbols. But for now, when we're just dealing with 20 symbols, it's real easy just to leave this up and pop over here to our symbol list functionality. And you can see here I've already created the symbol list. So I took the top 20 from turbo brakes down, and I took the top 20 from turbo brakes up. Made a custom list, and then these are the modified versions right here. Now, just to clarify here, typically when I'm using these windows for my manual trading, and I'm trying to find stocks that are breaking out, and just to illustrate TCO today, it always makes me feel good when I share this technique with a trader, and then the next day they're like, hey, I'm in this stock at this price. Happened today. Guys like, hey, TCO just cracked. I'm in it at 70. I'm like, that's going to work out. No guarantee, but it looks like that one's going to work out really well. And if we just draw a line straight across from the high that it put in, the low that it put in, it goes range bound and then crack. If we're breaking out of this range, we have to hit a high. If it comes through here, says, hey, TCO new high, obviously the 1 minute volume criteria was met, and we see it right here. We're like, hey, perfect. Not too far away. I'm going to buy the stock, put a stop loss in down here, off to the races. So when we're playing this pattern, obviously we want massive volume, because the more volume coursing through the stock at this point in time tells us, statistically speaking, we have a very good chance of this thing doing what we think it's going to do. So, not to be confused with these guys right here, because as we all know, Stocks don't just go straight down and they don't go straight up. So what I did is I took all the stocks coming through turbo breaks down, the top 20, and what we're going to do is we're going to reverse those to play those bounces, because a stock's coming through here, down, 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 eventually it bounces. Now it might bounce and correct itself, or it may take its bounce, seller comes back out, and then it goes down again. We never know what's going to happen. But if we get the signal right here, hey, buy NTI, because there's probably a very good chance it's going to bounce with a 15-minute hold time, and we buy it after this wick's been put in, and then 15 minutes later, boom, 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 we're exiting in a profit on a stock that has obviously more selling power or more selling action than buying action today, but we can still capitalize on that bounce. So, moving right along here, took those 20 stocks, made the list. If we back test these guys, and once again I already ran the back test so we don't have to sit here while the thing is crunching its numbers. All right, so for this guy right here, which we're going short with a targeted 15-minute hold, just so everybody can see, 15-minute hold time, we start 10 minutes after, full 65-day back test. So I believe everything is dialed in proper with these numbers, just barely getting the 4-to-1 ratio here. And we're just looking at the daily activity. So those stocks that are topping out and we're shorting them, this is the past 65 trading days. Obviously the days up here are winning days and the losing days are across the bottom. Now on a 65-day back test, that's not too darn shabby. So that's fading the ones coming through here for a 15-minute hold. And then with this guy, we're doing some bottom fishing by buying the ones hitting the lows while those volume criteria are met. Once again, got everything dialed in just about perfect, using $5, which is a pretty good middle ground for most people, and even building in 5 cents of slippage on the entry and the exit. So keep in mind that's $10 a round turn, 10 cents total slippage. And once again, looking at the daily here, not too shabby. So, if we have both of these on our desktop and, market might be kind of going up, going down, but every day, without fail, these guys should pump out some pretty interesting things for us. I optimized these at the beginning of last week. So, if we just look at how did these, on Friday, which is typically a slow day, it hit 6 out of 10 on the short, 4 out of 9 over here. But of course, if we go back and look, it would appear that most of the, while Mondays and Fridays can give good days, it seems like Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday are when the real interesting days come around. So it will be interesting to see how these guys continue to perform. But based on the back test that we're seeing here with 65 days and just the nature of these plays, a bounce off the bottom on a stock that's being aggressively sold and a short off the top on a stock that's being aggressively purchased. But as we all know, those charts always look, they're some of the sexiest charts to look at, because in retrospect they look very simple to play, but anybody that's tried to catch that knife at the bottom or short that top that's up 3 standard deviations that ends up going 5 standard deviations, we all know that it's not so easy. But if we use a tool like this to start applying a little statistical probability to that equation, well, then now we're playing a different game, because it's not a mismatch. You're not going to that, not going to the gunfight, showing up with a pocket knife. So let's just take a look at a few of the plays that would have been issued through here today. So these guys are geared up to start taking trades 10 minutes after the open. So if we just, view the history in this guy right here, and we just kind of scroll back to 6:40, and everybody just keep in mind, you'll see the start time is 6:40, which obviously the market's open bright and early, 6:30 here. So this is just a general guideline, because when we're back testing things for realistic purposes, realistic expectations, it's probably not the best thing to fold in the first 10 minutes. So I'm saying let's at least give the opening 10 minutes, give everything time to shake out. So, we can see right here, just right before 640, we had CLVS, pop up. And of course, these are just guidelines. So if we double click on that, boom. And, these rules are not set in stone. So if you're like me and a few other people, after seeing this huge gap down and seeing this little guy right here, and then if we expand this out to where we can see that a little bit further. I mean, it was hard once this bar opened up. I was like, okay, it's 640 right here. I'm going to take a chance on this one and just put a bar, right below my stop loss there. And I mean, this is pretty much the trade of the day right here. It just slowly ratcheted up. And then what was really nice about this is my reaffirming metric, once this thing started moving my way, is that look at my volume radar. Who was number one right here at the top of the list pretty much all day? CLVS, doing that massive volume on all these time frames, huge relative volume number as well. So it's always nice when you see a nice entry, you make that entry, and then not only does it start going your way, but it's also, as far as the soup du jour of volume goes today, I don't know if it was the leader, but definitely in the top 5, I would think. So nice reaffirming metrics here. If we go ahead and take a look at some of the other ones, let's see here. CXO, call to bounce right here. Looks like the price was about 104.45. So 5, 10, 15 minutes later, and you see what's happening here. Yeah, we're getting the bounce, we're getting the pop, we're making money long on a stock that's been progressively sold most of the morning, and we can see even after we had our little fun with it right here, cycles back down to lows. And then this happens. Now, whether we cared about it at that point in time, another matter. But if we just keep taking a look at these plays, when you first get this signal, you might be thinking, well, man, things in free fall. I'm a little leery about buying it here. But once again, boom, and it's not magic we're using here, even though it looks like it on the chart. But we buy here, 5, 10, 15. Look, we're in a profit to scalp out long. And, if you're watching the volume metrics, like we could always, anytime you're in one of these trades, it's real easy just to duplicate this guy, pop back over here, and just point it to ANIP. That way you can keep your fingers on the pulse of the volume so that when that volume does start to dry up, not only could you possibly get out, and of course it's not showing because I probably left some filters in here, but that might even be a good tip to even reverse the trade. Okay, so moving right along here, ANIP, ISIS, GPN. Once again, here's the signal. GPN, get long here. 5, 10, 15 minutes later, we're in a profit position. DEC, get long here. Now, keep in mind, they're not all going to be winners, but if we got long here, 5, 10, 15, we probably wouldn't have taken a very big loss. If our price here was 46.47 and the low of the candle was 46.36, the high was 46.78. So right in the middle of that candle and 15 minutes later, we're probably close to break even or a very, very small loser. So I just wanted to show you guys, not only does the back test look good, but by looking at the trades that were produced today, it does appear that this strategy is holding up. So very simple, but yet very powerful. All right. So, as the day progresses, it does make an interesting point to notice how CLVS was triggered here. It was also on this screen, right? I'm not so sure if it came through my turbo brakes highs and lows today, but at different points in the day, since it was not really hitting highs or hitting lows most of the day, it was pretty quiet through here. But the modified version got it and pegged a pretty good trade off of it. So, talking about how other things play into the whole trading day. Let's look back at the market right here again, because once we were range bound today, when we're in this area right here, everybody's thinking to themselves, well, at this point in time, it's a coin flip. Are we going to go lower and test new lows? Are we going to go higher and march on up like we actually did? So when we see these tops right here, drawing a line straight across, when we see the market start to come up here and flirt with these tops, and as it's approaching and breaking that previous high, we're thinking to ourselves, we just going to pop a new top, fall right back down in here, or are we going to do what we actually did, which is pop a new top, throw a little head fake, and then go higher? Well, once again, we've got something to help you with that. And if I can just grab my other window and pull it over, when we pop the top right here, we're looking at 9:30 my time, which is 12:30 Eastern. So this bar right here is 9:30 bar, which encompasses 9:30 through 9:35 Pacific Standard Time. So for those of you who have seen this before, for those of you who have not, this is what I call the SPY watcher. Of course, it can be any watcher you would like it to. Any symbol can be a watcher for that symbol, whether it's Google or any other indice, just by changing the symbol and the respective strategies. So this one's set up to watch the SPY, and you can see this is we're showing the historical view right now. So we can see at 9:30 at the beginning of the bar, as it was running up to this high, not a whole lot of volume going on. So what we can see here is how frequently we're being fed information about the SPY, the event or the alert that's triggering for the SPY, and then our good faithful companion right here, volume in the 1 minute period, which, by the way, 100 is normal. So as we're in this bar right here, pushing up to that high, start to notice that as we start to get close to the high, and we go higher and higher, look what's happening. As these events unfold in the SPY, look what's happening to the 1 minute volume level. 100 is normal. It's hitting 2 times, 2.5 times, 2.7, and capitulating just right under 3 times normal 1 minute volume as these new highs are taking shape. So if we were seeing values of less than 200, 150, 170 during that push as we're hitting new highs, I would have been a little hesitant. I would have thought more along the lines that, yeah, we're cracking new highs here, but we're not doing it on real, fervent volume. So, I'd be thinking to myself more along the lines of, yeah, pop a new high and then fall back down into the range. But when you start to see metrics like this start to pop out, 2.7, 2.7, 2.8, and then if we can't see the rest of the history here, but I'm pretty sure a couple have even popped up into the 3 area. That's always, there's no guarantee, but it's a very scientific methodology to help you figure out, okay, we did this with accelerated volume on the 1 minute time frame as all those events transpired. So if I'm a betting man, I think the direction is higher. Just like a regular stock would be, we apply the same type of metrics and the same rationale to the metric, or excuse me, to the indice as well, and it can help us figure it out. It can give us that slight edge that these numbers give us versus people who aren't watching metrics in this capacity do not have that edge. So I hope that's kind of clear for everybody. And once again, this window can be turned into any type of watcher, whether it's individual stock or an indice or anything you want it to be. All right, so I think it's a good time to open up the floor for questions. So let's do that.
Well, let's see. Well, Leon has some questions about how many trades the odds maker goes through. He seems to think that it only shows, the calendar only shows the first 100 that come in on the calendar per day.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. And the way it works.
Could you explain to him how, that there, how many trades it's crunching, what it looks at, and stuff?
Absolutely. And so, for example, let's see, where's that one large scan? Okay, so here is that bulk scan. Let's see, it's hiding from me. Let me see where it went. Okay, well, I guess I was too quick on the draw and I closed it out. But let's just do an example here. I'll just take my regular Turbo Breaks window, right-click, Run Odds Maker. Now, let's say I only do a 10-day back test just to save time here. And this is the time slice that I'm taking, right? Start 10 minutes after, between 12:50. Well, if I shrunk this time down right here, no matter how small or how big this time slice is, the odds maker is going to max out on 100 trades per day per time slice here. Okay, so if I set this up to back test a 1 hour period, and then I said simulate buy, then if we're back testing 10 days at 100, then it should come back roughly with 1,000. But it's going to use the top 100 stocks per time slice. So even if it's a 1 minute period or a whole day period, whatever the time slice is, it's going to max out at the first 100 trades. So I hope what I just said makes sense, and hopefully when this is done, it'll be easy to illustrate that. Okay, so as we can see, I back tested 10 days, 640 to 740. And so as you can see, it came back with 1,000 trades, which is 10 times 100, right? So for that 10-day period, it maxed out at 100 trades in this 1 hour period. But that's not to say we can't find more trades. It's just that it's going to max out at 100 per trade period. So if I wanted to get the next, if I wanted to find more trades, I could always consolidate this down and see if it still came in with 100. But the bottom line is, no matter how big or how small this period right here is, it's only going to take the first 100 trades for that back-tested time period. So, Leon, I hope that answers your question.
Hey, let's see. Oh, if people want to get the windows like the Spy Watcher and that kind of stuff, the best way is still to email info@trade-ideas.com so they can all get the same one.
Yes, if anybody wants the Spy Watcher today, I can easily have that link prepared, and it usually takes about maybe an hour after the webinar, but we'll give those windows to anybody who might have an interest in them.
Okay, so yeah, everyone just email info@trade-ideas.com and our customer support will help you out. Joseph had a question about the program cost. The AI odds maker license is a one-time $1,100 cost, and our monthly subscription starts at $99 per month for regular trade ideas. And yeah, as long as we're here, we may as well just mention this.
Yeah.
There's a product code. If you're not currently a subscriber, you can get in at half off the first month. So instead of $99, that would be $49 for the first month, and renewing at $99. There's no contract. And that's Office 16. It's all uppercase for Office. Use that code on checkout. That same code takes 25% off your first year. So instead of $888, it's $665. And the odds maker license gets reduced to, I believe, $825 with that 25% off code. That code you need to use by Friday, November 20th. Something that we're also offering for those of you who really understand the value of the AI odds maker and trade ideas is this combo package. It's only $1288 for the full year of trade ideas, the lifetime odds maker AI license, which saves you an immediate $700. You can get that by going to the bit.ly link you see on your screen, or I want to direct your attention to the handouts portion on your GoToWebinar interface. If you open your handouts section there and click on download the PDF, you will get the same code and the same link that you're seeing on your screen there. So you can type in bit.ly/SAVE700 or click the link on that download, and it will take you directly to the page where you can click through to purchase that combo. if you are currently a monthly subscriber and wish to switch to this, just go ahead and do it, and then shoot us an email at info@TradeIdeas letting us know that you changed plans, so we can just check your account really quickly and make sure that you're not going to continue to be billed for monthly once you're on the annual. And this combo does renew at $888 per year. So I guess we can return to questions if anyone has those. Leon's asking, so if we wanted to have, oops, it scrolled past me, I need to scroll back up. If we wanted to have an all-day strategy, we should backtest using time slicers, or should we start optimizing with a couple of filters already in place?
Well, it's really whichever way you prefer. Typically, just from my experience,
I think Leon might be hung up on that 100 trade thing that you see in the calendar.
mm-hmm.
We're crunching more than that, but those are what you see in the calendar, correct?
Right. Once again, depending on the event that we're crafting, right, how complex or how non-complex it is, there may be a gazillion of those events, or maybe a very limited amount. But if there's a fair amount of those events, while we can see a lot, we're still limited as well. So, if I run this back test here for a 20-minute period and it still comes back with 100 trades per day, then that tells me there's a lot of these events out here. So if I didn't want a time slice to max out, I might have to go into very small increments. But the bottom line is, if I run a back test here, and I wish I wouldn't keep closing that link, but let me get this back up here, or closing that window, which is second nature. But let me get these results back up here, and I'll try to.
Yeah, you don't really want to have results where you have over the course of the 3 months you're testing to have 3,000, 4,000, 6,000 trades. You want to get that down to be a manageable amount, correct?
Correct. So if I'm only back testing, saying wait 10 minutes and then take every first occurrence between here and here, and then I come over here to the time of day optimization tab, this thing just kicked back 1,000 trades on a 10-day back test. And I can see the majority of the trades are being generated between 6:39 and 6:50, right? So that's where the majority of these events are being generated. So if I really wanted to see a better time slice, I would have to go in here and go, okay, how many trades are generated between 6:40 and 6:45? How many trades are being generated between 6:50 and 6:55? So the takeaway here is that the system is only capable of using the first 100 trades that come through in this particular time slice. To get more detailed data, you have to start slicing it up in smaller time increments. Even if I ran the test again right here, only looking at a 1-minute period, would I max it out at 100 trades a day? I don't know. If there's enough of those events, possibly. And I guess if the calculation completes here in a second. Yeah, okay, so now I've just discovered that backtesting only a 1-minute period, I indeed do not max it out. Okay, so I just don't really know another way to explain that, between this time period that we're backtesting, only 100 trades are going to be used as a maximum sample for this time slice.
Okay, so now Lee has a question. Jamie, do you know which long-term daily moving average is used to calculate relative volume? He's trying to duplicate this as a custom formula.
Well, keep in mind we have relative volume here, right? Now, if you're wanting to get the definition of relative volume, we go here and we click on Help, and then you'll have the whole definition of the relative volume and how it's functioning. Now, if you need the formula for relative volume, then we've got that too, which this is also included in the help document for the custom formula editor, which this link is located in that document too. But here you can see all of the filter codes. So if I was looking for the relative volume filter code, I could easily find it in this list, and it's going to show you right here what the base code is, so that you can attempt to modify it, using the custom formula editor. And of course, if it works, it tells you, and if it doesn't work, you get a little error message. So entire definition can be gleaned by the search field, and then from within the help documentation of the formula editor, you can get all the filter codes here.
Are you running any different filters on the turbo brakes window you're showing, or do you use is it the default?
No, these are the same as are in the pre-configured list right here. So if I go to an alert window and open up the pre-configured strategies,
right,
you can see turbo brakes up is here and turbo brakes down is in the bullish section. Now just keep in mind, my versions here are a little bit more slimlined than the ones that you see in here, just as far as columns go. But the base configuration is relatively the same. And it's real simple with turbo brakes. It's just real basic filtering from minimum maximum, a little bit of volume criteria. But then this is really what makes the stream worth watching, in my opinion, is the accelerated 1 minute volume of 3 times or greater.
Yeah, Jorge, I see what you're posting. If you have that kind of a issue, just email info@tradeideas.com, and if we need to, we can hop on a remote session with you and get you going.
I noticed Terry was saying about his odds maker, he doesn't have the ability to pick how many days he's testing. So it's probably more than likely because you got to click the Show Advanced button right here. Hit Show Advanced, and then you get the bottom panel with the advanced settings. And right here is where you can adjust the number of days to backtest.
Yeah, I think that's been in the feature set for a while. That's probably the reason.
Yeah. Okie dokie. Any other?
If there's any other questions, if not, make sure you download that handout that's in your download section, so you can get in on any of the specials that we're currently offering. There'll be a follow-up email you should get tomorrow of the link to the playlist where you can find a replay of this. And we're looking forward to seeing you in the next webinars. Remember, we got a QA webinar on Wednesday. We have a Trade of the Week for those of you that are on our list on Wednesday evening. And there's another Jamie webinar on Thursday that you should get an email about to register in the next day or two. So, just keep showing up to these. You guys will really be advanced users in no time at all. Thanks, Jamie.
All right. Well, I just want to thank everybody for attending. Good luck with the rest of the week. And for those of you that show up Thursday, we'll talk to you then.
All right. Thanks all. Bye.